Welcome to the Leather Journey. I'm Dex and this is Bunny. The excitement never ends around here. We got a couple of parcels, so I'm going to do two unboxings, but this will be the first one. Got to put Bunny down so I can open this parcel up and show you what I've got. Well, most of you that follow the channel know that recently I went to the Savannah Underground and did a whip workshop, and some of my friends from South Carolina came to the workshop, and I got to see part of Spankr's whip collection. And Spank's had a couple of Roger Patterson spiral wound bullwhips, or whips, and I call them bullwhips because they have stiff handles and they have a fall, but they're spiral wound. So I formed a search party because, to my knowledge, let me tell you a little bit about Roger Patterson. He's been around for a long time. I first met him at Black Rose around 2000, 2001. He was vending, and I didn't buy one of his whips. He measures his whip like a signal whip, total length, okay? And surprisingly, the thong is short, pretty short in proportion to the total length of the whip. And I just felt like at the time it was too much money for that type of whip. But I got to throw two of these at the Savannah Underground. And I was like, whoa, I gotta get me one of those, if for no other reason than to be able to show everyone what this whip looks like. Roger lives in the Phoenix, Arizona area, but to my knowledge, he is not making whips anymore. If he is, and you know him, comment below and set me straight. But I don't believe he's making whips anymore. Given when I met him and my age now, I would say he's up in age. I got this from Miss Chris, okay? This is a 5-foot bullwhip, or a 5-foot Roger Patterson, okay? So that 5 feet is measured from the butt all the way to the tip of the cracker, just like you would measure a signal whip. However, when you measure this whip, because I had measurements before it was shipped, the thong is 2.5 feet long, okay? And Roger didn't do a fall hitch. He did a whipping, and I'm gonna get up real close and show you this, but he did a whipping. He whipped the fall onto the thong, and the fall is quite unique for falls. It's got a nice taper. It's skived, but when you turn it and look at its thickness, it's quite thick where it is whipped onto the fall. In fact, it's almost as thick as the end of the thong, and then the thickness tapers nicely all the way down to where the cracker's attached. I'm going to give you a close-up of this whip. So 5 foot total length. The way I measure whips, I would measure it and call it a 4-foot whip, just because it's 4 feet from the heel to the tip of the fall, and I don't really think the cracker affects the length that much, but I threw one of these in Savannah and I was like, ooh, that's quite nice. That throws really quite nice, much different. You would think the spiral adds energy and momentum as the thong rolls out, and it does. And you would think it would drift in the direction of the spiral, but for me, it doesn't seem to drift. That seems to be accurate. So I'm going to get up real close and let you see this workmanship. This is really quite different. I'm hoping you can see that. This is the handle. The handle's stiff down to about the first 6 inches, and it's very tightly spiral wound. This whip is red. And the whole thong has a very nice taper, and it's spiral wound all the way down to where it's whipped. That's a whipping with a binding. The fall is whipped onto the thong. Okay, and you can see how thick the fall is right there, and then the thickness tapers all the way down to the tip where the cracker is, and it has a nice taper down its length, and it's skived. So the whole thing, from a taper standpoint, the entire whip is on a continuous taper from the handle all the way down, very smooth taper, to the end of the cracker. Really nice. Really a great attention to detail. I have no idea the internal build on this whip. I have no way to contact Roger Patterson. If you know him and have an email or a way to contact him, please put it in the description below, because I would like as much knowledge as he's willing to share about this build. I would like to know more about this build. If you know more about this type of build, please comment. I'm going to be doing another unboxing here shortly, so stay tuned and look for that.